Hey guys, so rejection from clients will literally ruin your brain. And in this video, what I want to do is give you 3 strategies that will really help you escape the needy desperation cycle that you're currently in with your prospective clients. And it's really going to help you move towards a frame of power and leverage when closing these new individuals. So for those of you who don't know, my name's Otto. I'm from Acquisition Partner. Now we build 7-figure client acquisition systems for service businesses around the world. And recently we've just gone public in our launch of the Acquisition Partner model, where we're building a community and we're bringing on agency owners and consultants just like yourself to help them land liquid high-ticket clients by reframing their value and stepping out of service delivery by using all of our acquisition systems that we've deployed for our clients over the last 5.5 years. Now what I'm going to do is just jump over here into an email I just sent to our list, okay? And for anybody who's not on the Acquisition Partner email list, I'll just show you here how you can get over there. So head over to our website, I'll put a link down below, click up here on the newsletter, and then just take a look here. You literally give your first name and email address. You can unsubscribe anytime. We don't have a set posting schedule. We just post value when and if we have it and ready to provide to you guys. So what we've been able to do as well with the newsletter is actually tee up a load of discounts as well on current outreach tools that you're probably wanting to use, or indeed you're probably using them already for your client outreach processes at the moment. But we've been able to communicate directly with a lot of the leading tools and software providers to tee up these discounts just for you guys. So there's a ton of value inside there. Definitely recommend going over to the website, taking a look at what we actually do, and signing up to our newsletter to learn more. So what I do is just jump over to the message I just sent over to all the guys on our list. Now, the best place probably to start is with a brief story, okay? And when I first started out in my business journey just over 5.5 years ago, I would prepare for every email or meeting or voice note or whatever it might be. Every single touch point I had with a prospective client, I would practically over prepare. And it was my way of, perceivably me being diligent and working hard, and making sure that I was going into all of my meetings and all of my sales calls as prepared as I could be. And at the time, and indeed before that, what I was having to balance was moving away from a full-time job. I only lasted a year in a full-time job anyway, where I was having to move away from that kind of people pleaser mentality and all the issues that come with it, which I'll go into in this video here. So what I found at the time was that despite the fact that I was over preparing, despite the fact that I had a potential answer for any question that the prospect might ask, regardless of what I did and regardless of how well I answered those questions, the prospect would always balk at my pricing and always throw up a load of objections, pretty much reflecting that they didn't see any, or they saw a very low perceived value in myself and the service that I was delivering. Now this, bear in mind, came even after swapping my offer out, changing niches, clearly defining my ICP, doing a load of other things within the business to make sure that the services and offer that I was delivering was actually one that was high value. But what I was finding was that just sheerly the nature of my communication style, and specifically how I thought I was being personable and friendly and communicative, was actually leading to the point where I was losing all my leverage in the negotiation, and the prospective clients at the end of the call practically had made their mind up that what I was offering was just like what everybody else was offering, despite my offer being different, despite having different wording and proof and case studies, yet they still saw me and my company blanketed as a commodity in the marketplace. Now, at the time, this caused a lot of pain. So what you're going to be finding is that in all of your outreach, whether you're doing cold emails or LinkedIn, whatever it might be that you're doing to get in front of your prospective clients, you will be getting rejected a lot, okay? And if you are at the beginning of your journey and you're not earning any money, you've not got any money, and perhaps you've not even got a stack of evidence that you know what you're doing or that you can succeed in what you're doing, every single bit of rejection that you get is going to affect you negatively, whether you like it or not. Now, what's going to happen is, and we talk about this in this email here, is it's going to get to the point where the pain of being rejected is so great that it basically starts to harden neural pathways in your brain. Now, I'm not going to go into a deep sort of psychological tangent here, But really what's going to happen is that your behaviors and the way you act and your beliefs are all going to harden and narrow based on your existing lived experience. And at the time, for me, and maybe this is you currently in your business journey, it was rejection after rejection after rejection. And it got to the point where I had to stop going to the gym. I thought I had to stop going to the gym because I needed more time to work. I was declining, social occasions and events. I said to my main group of mates that, again, sorry guys, this weekend I can't come out on this trip together. We can't go and ride our, motorbikes together, whatever it might be. And it basically got to the point that I was racing myself to the bottom and to zero, and it led to a prolonged period of burnout for me, which I can go into in a whole nother video here. But really, what I'm trying to say is that how I was communicating at the time was positioning my value as a commodity, okay, and it wasn't piquing the interest of the prospects that I was speaking to day to day, regardless of the fact that we built rapport, regardless of tonality and things like that. Now, what this enabled me to do was go on a real fact-find journey and a self-measurement process to really identify my shortfalls and sort of the gaps in my communication style. Now, John Maxwell, in his book here, 16 Undeniable Laws of Communication, it's a great book, definitely recommend reading it if you haven't already, talks about what it takes to be an effective communicator. And he brings up this concept of the law of connecting. And the basic premise of this law here is that effective communicators know one thing, and they know that it's all about others. And it's ironic because the situation that you're currently in now, when you're taking calls and sales calls with prospective new clients, you're preparing for them, you're going over your script probably, you are memorizing all of your answers to all the objections they could hit you with, questions about price and guarantees and results and all these sorts of typical objections. And in this whole process, you're focusing on yourself. So on the call, you're nervous, the tone of your voice is getting higher and higher, you're speaking faster and faster and faster, you're not taking breaks, you are not speaking clearly, and you're evidently uncomfortable with silences on the call. Your prospect is picking up on all of these, verbal and non-verbal identification pieces of your communication here. And what's happening is that you are sat on the call, looking at yourself from the outside in, thinking, am I saying the right things? Is what I'm saying weird? Do I look weird? Is my hair right? Maybe my hair is wrong, and that's going to put them off. They just asked me a question. Did I answer that? Did I kind of answer it or waffle on? Can they see that I don't know what I'm talking about? Am I an imposter? You're going to go through all of these scenarios in your head, and this is going to happen live while you're doing the call, which is going to affect your performance on it too. And a very quick and easy way to shift this intangible sense that your prospects are going to have of you, that you are desperate and that you need their attention and need their business, which is not the impression we want to put across to them. The way that you can instantly change this is by shifting the focus from you onto them. Okay, and the first step to this is to realize and understand and reiterate to yourself that the only reason you're having a conversation with this prospect is that you are a CEO and they are a CEO. And what do CEOs do in business? They network, they connect, they partner with other service providers, both for mutual transformative growth. Okay, so instead of you coming to them with a service, yes, you have an outcome, you have a team or whatever it might be, you have a process that guarantees that outcome, but you are not there to sell them a service. You're there simply to connect with them, see if there's any synergies, and actually to give them a definitive answer on whether you can add value to their company or not. Now, the way that you can do this, and the way that I've found has worked really well for me, is firstly by cutting calls short. So what we do with Acquisition Partner, when we are bringing on potentially a new partner of ours, and all of our partners come on for, at a minimum, between 12 and 24 months, so there's no 30-day or 90-day trial periods, it's very important for us to have an efficient sales process, and indeed onboarding and with service delivery too. Now, it's important that that is reflected to these prospective clients. So we funnel them through our own proprietary channels of qualifying and scoring each of those individual prospects and leads, so that when they get on the call, we know pretty much what their budgets are, the leverage that they have in their company, if they're the decision maker or not, whatever it might be. All of the kind of core foundationals that we need in order to be able to have an effective negotiation with them. But one of the best things you can do is book an immediate call. And as an acquisition partner, what you are not is an agency that will work for free or do a trial period or work on a commission basis or will agree with the client to do 14 days and then we'll see how we go. Nothing like that. As an acquisition partner, you have a service and it's an in-demand service, and the name of the game is actually not to bring more and more clients onto your business. It's actually to be able to have a business that runs at a $1 million to $3 million annual run rate with literally 5 clients if you can manage it. So one of the best ways here and immediate ways is cut calls short. So you might get on a call, 15 minutes is what we do with acquisition partner. You might be speaking to your prospect, building rapport, and it might actually get to the point where they are asking you questions and they want to talk and explain their product or their service or what they're doing. Now you might think this is a good sign because they are seemingly engaged, but oftentimes it's very easy to let founders or CEOs drone on about their products and services without any clear agenda or outcome to the conversation. Now, a great way to really establish your leverage here and your frame in the conversation is to say to them, I'm a man of my word. I want to honour our commitment here. We've got 15 minutes and our time's almost up. So what I want to do in the next 30 seconds is bring up our calendars, align a time over the next 2 to 3 days that we can run through a full demo for you. Okay, and what this is going to do is basically show your prospects that you're in demand. It's going to show that you're busy. It's going to show that you're not desperate and that you actually don't have time for them to talk and for you to both just have a chit chat, generally without any sort of measurable outcome to your discussion. Now, the most important thing here is that you book them onto the second call. And as an acquisition partner, are you able to close, 6-figure clients that pay you from 12 to 24 months at a minimum in 2 calls? Yes, you absolutely can. We've done it ourselves. We've got other guys that we've helped facilitate. Have done it for themselves too. But typically, what you're going to find with being an acquisition partner is foundational to what that partnership is. So you're going to have nuggets of correspondence and communication with your prospect before you close them. Probably more so than if you are trying currently to get agency clients on, 14-day trial periods or whatever it might be. So this is just one of those introductory talks. Okay, quick 15 minutes and move on. Now we've talked a lot about shifting focus, but I want to give you one really active strategy that you can use for your closing for your sales with your prospective clients here. And I've got a load of content and past experience and sort of examples and my own stories that I can put into other videos. I think would be a lot more helpful for this. But here's a quick strategy that you can use, okay? And you've probably heard it before, but you have to listen. Okay, when I say listen, it means that you are silent, that you are showing that you're engaged through non-verbal communication. You're nodding, like a yes or a mm-hmm here or there is fine. But you want to show that you're engaged, sit up straight, nod your head, show that you're actually, consuming and hearing what the individual prospect is saying to you, and then continue to let them talk. Okay, so when they take a pause, when they are silent, allow there to be a period of silence. And what you're going to find in this period is that they will just continue to give you information that you should be taking notes down or using a tool. We've got an AI notes recorder that we use in our Google Meets calendar invites. And what you're going to find here is that you're just going to be noting down a ton of information that's going to basically set you up for a solid proposal that you're able to close on first time. Now, when and if the client comes back to you and comes back to you with objections or questions, here's what you don't want to do. What you don't want to do is reactively and immediately answer those objections. Okay, so if they say to you, talk to me about the price, I think it's too expensive. It is not your position to explain anything. You're not there on this call. It's not your purpose to say, well, the price is the price and we've got other clients paying it and we've got case studies and we've got, been going for 2 years and I've got 3 members of staff. Stop. You don't need to explain anything. You're not in a position where you are being compelled to explain anything. It's not your role. And all explaining is going to do is basically continue to position yourself lower and lower and lower in the prospective client's mind and sort of schema of where you lie in the value equation here. Okay, so the best thing you can do is listen actively and then repeat back to them what you've heard. Okay, so if they come back to you, I'm worried about the cost. What about guarantees? How can we measure results, etc., etc.? Listen to them, pause, allow there to be silence. Have they finished? Yes, they have. Come back to them by reframing exactly what they've said. And if you have prepared within your call script common, rebuttals to objections that you typically see in your sales process that you want to use, then this is a good opportunity to direct the conversation into those areas here. So what you can do is basically go back to them and say exactly what you think you've heard. Okay, so if they've talked, like I say, pricing, results, timelines, whatever it might be, you say, Chris or Jane, Joe, whatever your name is, what I'm hearing is that you have a concern about the cost, that you don't want to necessarily wait until we actually see results here, and that you're not 100% sure on how we are going to guarantee success. Is that a fair summation for you? Okay, rhetorical question, but they will inevitably say yes. Be silent again, pause, allow there to be a break. Now here's the real important pivotal moment here in this dialogue exchange. You have to ask them an open-ended question back. Okay, so don't go back to them with an answer. Chances are you actually don't know specifically what they are asking you or where the issue is that they are trying to tackle here. So go back to them, ask them an open-ended question, i.e. a question that they can't just simply respond with a yes or no, and say to them, John, just so I understand, what specifically is it about the cost that worries you? Silence. Calm. Okay. Wait for them to answer. 9 times out of 10, they will talk to the point that they have already answered the questions for themselves. Okay. So they might say to this question here specifically, what specifically is it about the cost that worries you? Well, I'm worried that it's expensive and that we are going to pay it now, and I don't know if it's up front. Oh no, it's on the proposal. Yeah, no, it is up front, isn't it? Okay, is it up? Yeah, it's up front. What about commissions? Oh no, you don't charge commissions, do you? No, okay. So they'll go through a process of digesting all the information that you've given them. Okay, now what I'm not going to do in this video, because we're already at 17 minutes here, is I'm not going to go into any more of these examples, but hopefully, guys, I've just given you a couple of strategies here that's, alluding to how you can change your perception of value in all of the negotiations you're having with prospective clients. We've got a number of different strategies that we've used for our business over the last 5.5 years that we share all within our email list here. So next steps wise for you to take, if this is of interest, if you're continually looking to improve your sales process, if you are training your own staff to do this for you, whether you run an agency or you're shifting offers to find something that's more unique, and simply that you want to move away from being seen as a commodity in the marketplace, then definitely recommend heading over to the Acquisition Partner website, take a look at our newsletter here, jump in, you'll get an introductory email there just confirming your subscription. And we'll go from there, guys. So we've also got a Discord group that we've just set up too, that I'll put a link in the description here. But hope you're all well. Hope this video has helped open your eyes to some new strategies, and leave a comment below if you've got any questions. All right, cheers.